When I was a kid, I remember always wondering why was it that every year the winter came and then we had the summer? Would it be possible sometime not to have that happen? And I didn't really understand what drove it. There are really two proximate causes of seasonality. And one is the intensity of the radiation received at different times of the year, and the other is the duration. In other words, how long the sun is received in any 24-hour period. So the interesting thing is both those two factors, intensity and duration, vary together exactly. In other words, the more intense the solar radiation is uh, in a given day or time of year, that's also when the days are longer. So here in Oregon, for example, right now, this is spring. I'm speaking of spring. The intensity of solar radiation every day on a clear day is greater each day as the sun is higher in the sky. So the intensity as received by the ground, and the days are longer. We're aware of the days being longer, maybe not quite as much intensity, but both are playing roles. So why then do we have greater intensity and duration of insolation changes through time? Like right now, the days are getting longer, the sun is higher in the sky, so it's more intense received by the ground. So there are related concepts that are driving at. One is the solar altitude, which affects intensity at ground level. So the higher the sun is in the sky, in other words, the higher the solar altitude, the more intense the ground is received at the level ground level radiation is. The second is the day length gets longer, as we said. And the third is what drives that. It's where the subsolar point is in the tropics. So the subsolar point is just the place where the sun is directly overhead at solar noon. That always happens somewhere in the tropics. And right now, I'm speaking here and say right at the end of March, it's overhead roughly at the equator, just a little bit north. And every day, the location of the subsolar point will move a little farther north. And it'll continue to do so all the way till June 22nd. So as that changes, that declination changes where the subsolar point is, it affects the solar altitude and it affects how long the days are. So as the sun solar altitude gets closer to us, where the sun is directly overhead, as it gets closer to where we are here in Oregon, never makes it here, but as it gets closer, the days are longer, and again, the sun is higher in the sky, the solar altitude is higher.